and this is a interview that I think people will enjoy. I've known you kind of in the digital space a little bit. Did an interview with your platform, which you're going to talk about. But as we dive into the month of March and celebrating phenomenal women who are doing phenomenal things, I thought it was necessary for 21st Century Fatherhood to be at the forefront of celebrating women, because most people think that the platform is just about men, but no, we're about both men and women, and it's about relationships, parenting, really building a healthy community. Certainly I think that you are doing some phenomenal things. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the books and things that you may have coming up. But thank you for accepting the invitation to come in and have this time. So
thank you for having me.
Yeah. So without further ado, I'm gonna let you introduce yourself, and we'll take it from there.
Okay. So that's funny, the thing about introducing yourself, because we're all filled with so many different things that it's hard to really say one thing or two things that stand out. And I always like to say I'm a mother of a genius, child of God. My daughter just turned 13, so got a big shout out to my daughter, Sophie, who also is a business owner. But I'm a collaborator. I'm a visionary. I have 1,000 ideas. I don't know why God trusts me so much, but I praise him for it. And so that's who I am. I am the owner of Kimberly Winborne, LLC, and that is finance and communications. So my background is public relations. I got my BA from an HBCU called Elizabeth City State University back in the day. I'm not going to say when, but that got the BA in English, news media communications. So I love talking to people. I love connecting with people. I love networking. I love inspiring collaboration and partnership, all of that. So I would say that wraps me up. Ultimately, I want to see people, but especially the African American community, and of course, especially women, to thrive.
No doubt. No doubt. That's, when I see you in the digital space, I really admire how you have really marketed yourself in a way that really speaks to your brand, speaks to what you're trying to do. There's a lot of times where you see people one way online and in a different way in real life.
Yeah.
And I just appreciate the authenticity that, what you see is what you get. And that's phenomenal, right? It's phenomenal. We were at an event together, and we had a chance to catch up. And it's like, those are people I can connect with.
Yeah.
Because one of the things is in our community is that we're all striving. We're all trying to become something greater than what we were yesterday. But at the same time, am I approachable?
Yeah.
Right? Can you have a conversation with me?
Right.
That's not necessarily always about doing business, but just building good relationships.
Yeah. I want to comment on something you just said, if you don't mind. You were talking about being in space with a certain group of people, and that's that like-mindedness that's necessary in the growth as entrepreneurs, right? And so I love to be in spaces with people who know more than me. You may know more than me, like in your specific arena. I may know more than you in another arena. But when we can come together and bring those puzzle pieces together, that really helps and inspires an entrepreneur to go and keep going. And so back to your point about loving being in spaces like that, I'm going to kudos that, because I do too.
Yeah.
Because I can go in, find something new that I didn't know about you that may be able to help me in my business. I've been a business owner for 20 years, but I can learn from the person that just started, because we're all doing different things and we all have jewels within ourselves. So I just wanted to talk about that really quickly. Like-minded community networking is so dope to me. Like I'm an ambivert, so I do need my alone time, but I get energy from being around people because of how much I can absorb from them. So my books, the first one that I wrote was The Debt Detox, and it actually was just like the next step from a program that I started 5 years ago. And so my company, one side of it is really heavily focused on finance. Helping entrepreneurs make money is my tagline. Helping entrepreneurs make money so they can be stewards of it. And how I help them make money is through the communications, public relations, really getting out there, learning how to network, collaborate, all that stuff. But the debt detox, so I found my mother was a single mother of 3. Everybody has a story, right? Everybody has something that motivates them and pushes them, their why, as they call it. And my mother was single mother of 3. I had a conversation with her maybe like 4 years ago. And I think everybody can relate to this, especially as a parent. She says she wishes that she could have done more. Whatever it is. This specifically, she was talking about finance. Like, I wish that I could have taught you guys a little bit more about investments, about preparation, about credit, about whatever. She taught us a lot, but she still, you know, in her heart of hearts, really wishes that she could have given us more. And so that became like my passion to see. I see so many women, men too, but women, we carry it different, like this hopelessness or helplessness. It's like we have this it gets to our emotions, it gets to our mental health. Like it does something different. I think men just feel like, okay, this is something that we have to overcome, but I am going to overcome it. I'm gonna do what I gotta do, blah, blah, blah. And you may have those moments in the midnight hour where you're trying to figure it out. But women, we carry that thing with us in a different way. And so I was like, what if I could work with women, especially those coming out of domestic violence situations, those coming out of prison, those coming out of horrible divorces, all of these different situations that we don't expect, single, and help them to get on the right path. And that's how it all started. What I found was that most people were drowning, first of all, in a mindset that they didn't recognize was hindering them and holding them back. And then secondly, that a lot of people are actually afraid to live. And so they do things out of fear, like buy purses that have nothing to do with your dreams and goals that cost $5,000 when you don't have $5,000 saved. You know, things like that set us back. And it's really all, we got to understand, people, it's a lot based on fear of not fitting in, fear of not being like the next person, all these different things that we do around fear if we really truly go back to it. So I said, I'm going to create a program where I can help more people to dissect the mindset where they are financially so that they can grow to the next mindset. And then also let's talk about debt. Let's talk about the bad debt versus the good debt. So the whole book, which started off as that program, is about cleansing the toxic financial habits. Cleansing the toxic financial habits, which is that detox that hold us back. People think that it's about not being in debt, but it's not. It's about cleansing the toxic financial habits that hold us back.
Oh man, that's a lot to unpack there. You know, I think about, you know, the behaviors of money. That comes to mind when you think about fear. It's like an emotion, right? That drives, you know, when you think about marketing and persuasion to get you to buy something, fear is a lot rolled into that. Like, I think about the, you know, the deal that is going away if you don't get it now. Right? Yeah,
don't want to miss out.
The fear of missing out.
Yeah, that's a big one. That's a big one. We think we focus so much on the next, but not the next that is going to serve us. It's the next that is going to actually hinder us because we're looking at everybody else's story instead of living our own. And I think a lot of that is because, and I know this is kind of a veer sort of, but we don't love ourselves. Like we don't love ourselves a lot of times because we're not attached to a higher power, a bigger source. And that's the whole reason why I talk so much about God in my business, because I believe that alignment is necessary. It helps to bridge that gap of incompletion to where you truly love yourself. Because when you love yourself, it doesn't matter if you have name brands and if you have this, that, or the other, where you order from. As long as you can have clothes on your back, your children are healthy, whatever is going on, it's enough. And so that's back to what you were saying about mindset and that, you know, sort of really breaking that down. So I wear a personal development hat in my coaching, in financial coaching. I did several hours of personal development because I wasn't equipped at first to deal with people who were hopeless and helpless and all of that stuff. And so I had to dive in and do that personal development journey myself, but also get with God myself in order to be able to, you know, help these people.
All right, my mind is spinning.
You
We
spinning?
gotta get you in a room with some of our audience to do a course.
Okay.
Yeah, we gotta figure that out.
Well, it is a course. It started off as a course. I would love to. I have a few courses, but the Debt Detox is a course. It turned into a book. So now you take the book. I have the book. It's only 30 days because I believe in small steps at a time. So finance is that big elephant, right? And so if we can conquer small steps at a time, that has been more beneficial. So it's 30 days. I do have another book that I haven't come out with. I'm going to tell you guys today, right? Okay. It's a book of poetry. And I started writing poetry when I was a little girl. The first one I recall that I ever wrote I was 8 years old, and it was called Why Me? And it's very short. Why me, I ask. Why me, I know. Why me? Because he loves me so. Of all the creatures, of all the earth, of all of death, and all of birth, he picked me out from off his vine. Of love and honor in him I find. So I've always been kind of like on this search to discover my place. Yeah. And that explains a little bit about why I am, who I am, how I am, and all of that. It's been a continual sort of search for me. So it'll be coming out soon, but those are only 2 books I have.
Nice. I love it. How can they find you? I want to make sure I throw that in there before we...
Everything is Kimberly Winborne, LLC, but you guys learn how to spell it. So the spelling is the problem, right? Winborne. So KIMBERLY WINBORNE LLC. So it's everywhere. Social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter is Kimberly Wins because Winborne is too long. So Kimberly Wins, LLC. Okay. My website, KimberlyWinborneLLC.com. And then that leads people everywhere else to the podcast, the TV show, the books, all of it from KimberlyWinborneLLC.com.
I'm inspired for sure. And, one of the things about this platform that I'm building out now is a lot of times I notice that in our community, we have a lot of great things going on, and you can't support everything all at the same time. Yeah. Right. But the nice thing about what we're doing here is the best thing I can do is to bring awareness to people's brands. And I'm hoping to do that through these initiatives here with 21st Century Fatherhood, because we're about connecting and collaborating as well.
I remember when you were on the show. I really loved that. I really loved everything and still do. That you're about.
No doubt. And I appreciate you guys for having me. And it started me thinking deeply about making sure that I'm doing my part. Because it's about how do we bring all of this synergy together now? Like how do we bring all of our ideas? Because I do believe that there is some great things out there for us, but some of it's gonna take us working together. Absolutely. And we have the beautiful thing now is we have tools and technology and social media and all these things that we can leverage now. Right. I noticed that as we move through 2022 now, it's like some people are starting to see like, okay, COVID really taught me some things about what I've been sitting on. Like I've been sitting on these ideas, and then COVID happens. So now, how do I kind of use these things to leverage them, right? To create a brand, some of us, I think, our entrepreneur journey started because we just saw some things, and we're problem solvers naturally, and that kind of you kind of stay with it. Because like my first taste of entrepreneurship was when I was 12.
Okay, right? What did you do?
My cousin and my brother, we all had a bet. I'm from Michigan, and the bet was it snows in the winter, heavy. A lot of older people who can't get out and shovel their snow. They got to get to their car and stuff like that. So the bet was, hey, let's see who can make the most money shoveling snow in one day. They came back with 40 and 60 bucks. I came back with 80. I was like, that's it.
It's on.
I'm hooked.
Yeah.
So I tell people, like, when you see a shovel, you think about shoveling snow. When I see a shovel, I think about opportunity. And that's an entrepreneur's mind is we see opportunity around every corner. Right.
And that changes the path too. So if you think an opportunity versus work, because a shovel could represent work, which make you say, I don't want to do it. Let me just do enough to meet my little goal. But when you see opportunity, the sky's the limit, as they say, you know. So I like that.
So now one of the things that I'm looking to do is connect with people who are striving to do some of the things that are in my heart. You know, how do we be better entrepreneurs?
Yeah.
You know, you talked about the debt detox and money. A lot of times what I have noticed as well is that entrepreneurs are not good with money. They like it. They want to make a lot of it, but they're not good at managing it. And it's not what you make, it's what you can keep, right?
What you keep, yeah.
like I have seen a lot of money come through my hands, but have I figured out how to invest and save properly? You know, I'm learning those things now. What would you say to someone listening who is maybe getting started in some mistakes that they should avoid?
Yeah. You know, it's funny. Many of us were raised by entrepreneurs, but they didn't consider themselves that. It was just every day I'm going to work doing this and that. Like my grandfather was a landscaper, and I'd never thought of him as an entrepreneur until I became an entrepreneur. Even when I first started my first business, I didn't call myself an entrepreneur. This is just what I do. I was, you know, a hairstylist.
Yeah.
This is my profession. This is my career. I didn't consider myself an entrepreneur, and I didn't consider myself a business owner until I actually had a brick and mortar in 2006. So I believe there is this thing called the entrepreneur's mindset. I've been really using this word lately, ethos, the entrepreneur's ethos. So the culture, the ambiance, the atmosphere of entrepreneurship. And I think, especially in our culture, we're just used to people doing what we have to do, hustling. You got that uncle, you never knew what he did, but he always had money. He always had alcohol. He always had cigarettes, right? How did he get it? He hustled, he cleaned buildings, never knew. I got plenty of uncles like that. I never knew what they did, but they always had money, always had food for the fish fry, and it would be a lot of it, right? Always had stuff. And that's the thing. We didn't necessarily see people sitting down and taking the money, showing how you put this percent over here, this percent over here, this percent there, writing things off, sitting with the tax man except for to get a refund, right? Like actually sitting with the tax man quarterly and all of that. We didn't see that. And so that's something that we know how to do is hustle. Yeah. We know how to hustle. And so one of my classes, The Art of Collaboration and Networking, we talk about the hustler's mindset versus the entrepreneur's mindset. Nothing wrong with being a hustler. You got to hustle a little bit as an entrepreneur. But if you always have a hustler's mindset, then you could end up getting trapped in the cycle of never succeeding to the space of entrepreneur, where you're hiring people one day and giving back to the community, but your house is straight. Yeah. But many of us have a goal and a desire to give back to our community, create jobs and all of that. So to an entrepreneur that's starting, one of the first things I tell them to do, first of all, you got to have goal, vision. You know, you got to see what's ahead. You got to have a separate account. We got to stop commingling our money. We have to pay ourselves. Even if it's you starting off, you only made $100. You got to separate that from the other funds and pay yourself. So if it's $100 and you say, hey, for the first year, I'm giving myself 30% off of every 100 that I make. And then the other 30% is going to go here. The other 30% is going to go there. We have to come up with a plan, get with a financial advisor, and then get our LLCs, get our structures, whether it should be incorporated, LLC, nonprofit, sit with somebody to get your protective village going from the gate. And I call the protective village your insurance agent, your lawyer, and your banker. Yeah. And so from there, then we can win. But so many people don't do that until they have a whole lot of money, or they feel. But then that whole lot of money becomes a cycle of debt, or a cycle of not being able to qualify for different things, or just all of this. And so that's what we have to do. Because I think a lot of people who have been in business a long time, when COVID happened, realized that they really weren't technically in business, because they had no paperwork to show for all of this hard work. They could not qualify for any SBA loans. Some people couldn't even get the PPP loan, and that just shouldn't happen.
Yeah, we were able to take advantage of it because our paperwork
in order,
stay right in line.
Yeah. So was I.
That's a good point. That's a good point. All right, we got just a couple of minutes left. Yeah. Talk to us about Coffees in Collaboration and some things that you want our audience to know about how to support you in the future. And
okay. So I love Coffee and Collaboration. So it's a media company now. We started off 4 years. So April 2nd, 2022 will be 4 years. So we started off as a radio show, then moved to a podcast, then now a media company. And so the media company, we have Love and Flow TV. We have the Collaboration Culture podcast. I just renamed mine to the Collaboration Culture podcast.
Love it.
And we're doing a Winning Women series. And then we have Al Howard. Yeah. He's got a show on there. It was called Thank God It's Fashion Friday. He's about to relaunch that with another name. I'm not going to steal his thunder.
Okay.
And we're coming
He'll be on at some point.
Yeah, we're coming out with a magazine. I know you guys work close. We're coming out with a magazine soon as well. And so really how people can support me is by supporting themselves. So many people don't advertise and market. They feel like it's going to be too expensive, so their voice is not out there. They're just using social media, sometimes right, sometimes wrong. And we want to be a platform where we bring your platform to ours, and we share with our audience who you are, and we do it at a very low cost in order to be able to help people grow. So how they can help me is by supporting themselves, just reaching out to us at info@coffeeandcollaborations.com. They can go to Kimberly Winborne LLC and go through contacts to gain access to the information, access to me to send the information. And that's really it. I always want to, that's what it's all about. Collaboration, a culture, spreading the message that we can support each other, and as a result, we can all win.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, listen, I'm so thankful that we were able to get you on, and you are definitely a phenomenal woman in my book. And
thank you.
I appreciate what you're doing. I hope that this is encouraging to you to hear that even as a man, like, you're not my direct audience, but in seeing you, I got to do a better job of hitting the like button. Sometimes I get to scrolling, but I see what you're doing, and I just want you to know that you're doing a phenomenal job. So on those days where it feels like, you know, did anybody see it? Is it making a difference? It definitely is.
Thank you.
And I'm hoping that it turns into dollars and cents in a big way.
Absolutely. That's what it's about.
Because we get into the bag this year. We
get into the bag, absolutely. And that was a good thing you just said. You know, sometimes people don't like, love, react. And for that new entrepreneur that's looking for that in order to validate themselves, just know, like, people are watching. Yeah. People are paying attention. Keep posting. Keep doing the work. Did you love what you just saw? Well, make sure to like, tag, and share, and then subscribe to 21st Century Fatherhood.